Facing the lions, facing the lions.
Good morning, and welcome to Wednesday Wellness. This is the day that we say, get well, stay well, and be well. Have you ever thought about your well-being and that you speak wellness into your life, into yourself, and onto yourself? We're going to talk about that today, how we do that. And back in the day when I was teaching young children, I ran across something that I think would be beneficial for us. And if it helps you, great. If you're not finding any help and would like some more help, we're here for you. Our Vibe Talk Direct Connect is for you exclusively. It is 661-503-8993. You can call us from anywhere. You also can directly reach us through your direct messaging and your Zoom calling right from your Facebook if you have any questions or you want to just simply sign up to have individual counseling. We are Vibe Talk, Facing the Lion, and we'll be right back.
Cause we're called Vibe Talk, Facing the Lion podcast. Go check your favorite streaming platforms.
Feel free to be interactive and tell us your
Like
story.
Spotify, iHeartRadio, Apple Music, YouTube, and so much more.
We're also on Facebook and Instagram.
Go give it a shot.
We're back, and welcome
Facing the
to
lion.
Vibe Talk, Facing the Lion. Thank you for joining our program. We are here. Today we're going to speak well into ourselves. Around here we have affirmations. And I'd like to introduce you to speaking well into yourselves. You know, we use our voice to speak anything. Well words, not so good words, challenging words. Today is going to be a day that we speak wellness. How many of you are working on your wellness from the inside out? How do we start something like that if you're not used to speaking wellness onto yourself or into your well-being? How do we start? You know, if you're like me and love children, children are very fascinating to me because they just say it. You know, when they're very young, you ask them how they feel, they're going to tell you exactly how they feel. And so today's program is going to help you to just be able to speak well within yourselves. When you wake up, how many of us really feel amazing? You know, we wake up, we hear as we get older, cricks and creaks of our own bones living inside of our house bodies. But yet the mind works well. I want you to think about, despite our limitations, because we all have them, each and every one of us have limitations. You can make a list of what you were limited to do, should you choose. But you can also speak to yourself about it being an amazing day, despite how you might feel, despite what you have been through. I always have appreciated the fact that you have choice. Come a little closer. You can choose, despite yourself, to have an amazing day. You see, the mind is a powerful thing to waste. And your amazing brain can speak volumes by your actions. So start by saying, today is an amazing day. Wherever you are, whatever you're doing at this present moment, I'd like for you to tell your heart, to tell your mind that today is an amazing day. You can choose if it is or if it isn't. You know, all things can be going not according to plan at this very moment, because we realize that life presents many moments like that. And physically, you may not feel the greatest. Mentally, you may not feel the greatest. But I want you to think about an amazing day. We can speak onto ourselves how our day is going to be, how our day is going to be amazing, by asking ourselves the next question: what is going to be amazing about today? Maybe you're feeling a little down, and all that you can do is perhaps just get out of bed. That's amazing. Or maybe it is that you are procrastinating with a project. I don't know if there are any of you who procrastinate like I do. I'm always last minute. And I need to work on that, speaking wellness into myself when it comes to things. I'm going to have an amazing day because I'm going to work on having the amazing day. If you take a group of children, teenagers, and adults, and you ask the first group that I mentioned, tell me about the amazing day. I like to create stories, like ones that have a title. When I was teaching the very young, tell me about the amazing day. They're going to tell you all kind of things that make them feel amazing. And that group of children, young people, are going to be able to tell you what makes their day amazing. Now you take the other group of young teens, and their day will be far different from the first group, the younger, because teenagers also create for themselves what they think is amazing. What I am creating for you is the ability, capability, that you can do it so you choose. Now you take the adults that we are, you put us in a group, and you say, what is an amazing day? What would be the most amazing day? We'd love to hear from you guys. So please do call in, text with that question. What makes a day amazing? Or if you could have the most amazing day, what would it be filled with? All those groups I just mentioned, us included as adults, we can learn something from the younger. Because no matter what they're going through, they get into a mode of imagination and creation. And that's why I love working with so many young people in the past and presently. So what is your amazing day looking like? You say still, Miss Nisi, I don't have an amazing day. But if you could, what would you speak into your amazing day? I want you to stop. And I want you to inhale as you prepare your mind and prepare your heart to think about what an amazing day would look like. And exhale. As we move on, I would like you to say, speak into yourself, today is an amazing day. Now I know for some of you, seeing is believing, and we're not making light of anybody's situation because perhaps you've had a death in the family. That's not so amazing. Perhaps you're dealing with depression. Perhaps you're dealing with physical ailments. But I want you to think about what has been amazing for you. Because we all have that moment where we think about something amazing that happened. Now, before we move on, I was thinking about a lot of some things that happened to me that was amazing. As it was early in the morning and I was driving along one very early morning, just at the peak of the horizon, there were beautiful pinks and oranges with a little bit of yellow skies. And into that sunrise flew black birds. I want you to think about that. And if that is something that is amazing to you, hold on to that. Because if you just watch, amazing things will happen. So tell me about your amazing day. That's our Vibe Talk exercise today on this Wednesday Wellness. We want you to comment when you see this. We want you to be able to express yourself in being well, staying well, and getting well. We'll be right back. We'll be right back.
Cause we're called vibetalkfacingthelionpodcast. Go check your favorite streaming platforms
Feel free to be interactive and tell us your
like
story.
Spotify, iHeartRadio, Apple Music, YouTube, and so much more.
We're also on Facebook and Instagram.
Go give it a shot.
Did you know that Vibe Talk Facing the Lion podcast has Vibe Talk After Dark? Join us on Saturday evenings, wherever you are, on Instagram. We are back, and thank you for joining us. One of the affirmations I changed a little bit because this was designed for a lot of the younger audience. Are you willing to listen? Are you a good listener when people communicate? Because sometimes we have the tendency to overtalk or want to say something when somebody else is saying something. Sometimes I have that issue where I really want to say something and I want the other person to hurry up and say what they need to say, but that's not good listening. But I'm going to ask you something to speak into yourselves as we are speaking into and unto ourselves on this Wednesday Wellness. When people speak, do you hear with your ear? I want you to touch your ear because your ears can do a lot of wonderful things. And extra bonuses, LOL, because some people can wiggle their ears. I haven't mastered that yet. But you see, our ears, we have two of them, twice to listen. And when we are listening, are we with the idea to intentionally hear someone when they speak? Because we'd all like to be heard. You hear us in Vibe Talk always say, we want to hear your stories. Well, we want to create spaces for you to be able to speak as well as to listen. Because if you listen twice as much, you really might gain knowledge that you didn't know before. We've had that happen here at Vibe Talk. People who listen to the podcast have said this or that. But now, do you listen with intent to hear? Ask yourself this very moment, when was the last time I really listened? Do we listen to our family members? Do we listen to instruction of any kind with a view as to hearing what is being spoken? For me, I do a lot of talking in my ministry, in my Vibe Talk, do a lot of talking. But I'm working on listening. Because when you listen, what you're really doing is focusing on paying attention to the words that are being spoken. You know, we do this a lot in life. And tell me if it isn't true. When someone says, "Did you hear me?" And we say, "Huh?" And they say, "Did you hear me?" And we say, "Yeah, I was listening." And then the comeback is, "Did you hear what I said?" And then we say yes. And then we do this. "What did you say?" How many of us have done that? We have sworn that we've heard what the person just said because we said, we heard you. Is not listening. To validate someone when they speak, we can say, if you choose, I have heard what you've said. I have listened to the words that you spoke. Makes a difference, doesn't it? Another way of speaking wellness into ourselves is being nice. Sometimes life affords the opportunity for us to be much nicer than we were a day or a time before. You know, we have run into people in our lifetime that maybe we weren't so nice to, and then something bad happens to them and we are nice to them. Maybe our neighbors. We all have neighbors. Most of us do. Some people don't because they live in more rural. So their neighbors are far and few and there's spaces between them, so you don't get that opportunity. But in life, you do get the opportunity to be nice to someone, someplace, at some time. Nice, the word nice. Think about that. When was the last time you were nice to someone? Because I'm going to tell you, I have been crossed the wrong way in my lifetime many of times, and I've crossed other people the wrong way many of times, and it isn't a nice feeling. But we're going to go back to the neighbors because, you know, we might know our neighbors not by personal conversation other than a wave or a hello, and then there are some neighbors that we know and we've taken a moment and we've spoke with them. We've spoken to them. So we get to build a rapport. Those are the people that we've decided right then and there if we like them or if we don't. A lot of us live with noisy neighbors that get on our nerves. Been in those situations. Or they may get on your nerves. Or we may get on their nerves because we want to have an open mind to look at this. What would it take to be nice to them? Or at your places of work, what would it take to be nice to them? Because you know, when you are nice to yourself, you learn how to be nice to others. We're working on Wednesday Wellness today. Are we asking the question, am I a nice person? Or could we use a little bit of niceness speaking onto ourselves? Because we must learn the language of niceness onto ourselves before we can well it to other people. I want you to think about that. We are not doctors. I am a wellness coach, speaking wellness from my own experience. We're going to take the opportunity to be right back. We'll be right back. Did you know that Vibe Talk Facing the Lion has individual counseling as well as group sessions customized just for you? Get with Vibe Talk. Either join the live or inbox.
like Spotify, iHeartRadio, Apple Music, YouTube, and so much more.
We're also on Facebook and Instagram.
Go give it a shot.
We're back. Many of us feel love because we are loved. Many of us feel that. Ask yourself in this affirmation today, who do you love and who loves you? A lot of you may find this difficult because maybe you feel unlovable. But I want to tell you something. We can change this. You can change this because it is in your power to change this. And today we're working with the mind and how we mindset wellness into our own housed body from the inside out. If we've thought about love, what does that look like to us? You know, a lot of people have a lot of definitions of love. There's no one way to look at love. You know, children know and have been blessed with the opportunity. Not all, but children know that their mommy and their daddies love them. But the other side of the spectrum is there are some children that can't say that. I want you to think about that. But now when we think about love, can we honestly say that I love me? Some of you do love yourself. Some of you do love yourself. And why do I laugh? Because when you look at Instagram, you've got selfies posted, and that's all great and glorious. But some of you, if I were to pull you into a private room, all is not what it looks like on your selfies. Because you may love you in that way, but really, can you really say from the inside out that you love yourself? See, that's key. And I want to go back to the statement that I made about kids feeling the love of their parents. Because 1 out of every children in the group that I've worked with didn't have that support. They didn't know that support. Because you see, their mothers and fathers had abandoned them or neglected them. Or some didn't really know who their mommies and daddies really were, because they were foster cared. When you get into the education system, you begin to realize there's a whole lot of children that can't say that. But here's the other side of that, because we're all about wellness. Can you love yourself enough to become aware of this gentle reminder? You are love. You are love Because why? You fill in the blanks. I am love because I like to see people treated well. I don't like injustice. I am love because I think that every child should have love, care, and concern. I am love because I help so many people. What am I doing here? I am speaking into myself wellness and awareness of the things that I've done that have shown love. My list could be long, but I too were like many of you out there. I wasn't capable of loving myself. I thought I was unlovable, that nobody could love me. But now, I love myself. And not like the people who you see splattered with their Instagrams and you know they love themselves. You know anybody like that? All you see is pictures of them. Nobody else but them. But now if I pull them aside, there's a reason for that. Let's not get it twisted. Let's be able to breathe into our lives, our wellness spaces, that we are lovable. You are lovable enough to be loved. And what that looks like for you. We're going to take lots of breaks today. And the reason we're going to do that is to give you something to honestly think about. We're going to be right back. We'll be right back.
Facing the lions, facing the lions.
Did you know that Vibe Talk Facing the Lion is on YouTube? Go and subscribe and click that button for YouTube with Vibe Talk Facing the Lion. We are back. And we are talking about speaking into ourselves. Wellness. How many of you think you're smart? Everyone's hand should be up. Because we all think we're so smart. And many of us are smart. We've done some really smart things. What was the last smart thing you did? You know, I find that people love to talk about their smart animals. All day long, they get into a group conversation on social medias about what their cat did, what their dog did. But now let's bring it to our social standings with people interaction. What was the last super smart thing that you have done or that you have been aware of? You know, I thought it was super smart when all these telephones that you could hold into your hand, the cell phone, and it was just like a computer. That's super smart. I want you to be able to look into yourself and think about your intelligence, your beauty of being able to embrace that you are an intelligent human being. You know, I say the word idiot a lot. Like I could be driving and I will say, that idiot just turned me off because he tried to cut me off. Did you hear the word I use? Idiot. Maybe I might want to rethink wellness into my sentence, because that person may be an idiot to me, but may be the smartest person in the room. And if not, he has the capability to gain intelligence. Do you give yourself that much leverage to say, I'm really smart? Because there are some people out there that are abusive people that may have called you an idiot, or may have said in your lifetime, you're not smart enough. You are an amazing, intelligent human being. I want you to start speaking into your life the smart things that you've done. Some of you have been so smart that you have survived tragedies, traumas. You've been able to stay alive under the most painful situations. You've been surviving. Even then, you are super smart because you survived it. I want you to think about that. Let's think about the affirmation of believing in oneself. You know, there's a song, Do You Believe in Magic? Disney has Believe in Your Dreams. And I like to point this out because when a person believes in themselves, they start to create. Imagine if you believed in yourself, the possibilities where there are no ones. There are no superheroes, because you are responsible to be your own superhero, believing in all that you do. Every day we can afford ourselves the opportunity to say that we believe in ourselves. We believe that we can do it. We believe that we can achieve it. And we believe that we can be it. Believing in oneself. When I was a kid, growing up in the different challenges, my mother would always say this to me, so I take it to heart. You can do anything. You can become anything that you put your mind to. I actually have used that to my advantage. Because you know what? When nobody else believed in me, the I can do anything, I said, watch me. When nobody took an interest in me to say, put your mind to it, I challenged that. Can you do anything that you put your mind to? I want to hear from you as you speak into yourselves that you can do anything. People have become great swimmers. They went to the Olympics. People have created for themselves when they go and they sing and they say, you know, I can sing. See, that's belief in themselves. If you're like me, I love The Voice, and I want to thank The Voice right now because we're talking about The Voice. the incredible singers because someone told them they could sing. And guess what? They put their minds to it and they went and did these auditions, and some of them are very well known from those type shows. See, that's the I can do anything, I put my mind to it. And if you tell them they can't sing 1,000 times, that's when they say, let me challenge you. Because they believed in themselves, that they could do anything they put their minds to. We're going to be right back with more about speaking wellness into one's self. Did you know that you could find our latest podcast? Go ahead, ask Alexa, ask Siri, and ask Google for Vibe Talk Facing the Lion podcast.
Because I don't want you just to make a resolution. I want you to think about. I was really about to.
Facing the lions, facing the lions.
We're back, and thank you for joining Vibe Talk Facing the Lion podcast on this Wednesday Wellness. We're talking about speaking wellness unto yourselves for this Wednesday Wellness. How many of you think you're a leader? And how many of you think you're a follower? Now I ask you two questions. The first one is when you think about a leader and what a leader does. Think about the kind of leaders that you may look up to, that have been somebody that you wish to fashion your life after. There have been some really great leaders. But now, as hard as it may be to admit, how many of you follow? You follow. See, because a leader and a follower are distinct. One is actively paying attention to gain knowledge, to gain the mastery, the keys of one day being like that leader who may have done some really great things. And the other one is active, but not paying attention. And when you say you're a follower, they say, well, no, I'm not. You see, we look at the world today and we know that many people follow the latest things. And not all have been bad things. But you see, the leaders go on, and the leaders have created for themselves great things. I love Maya Angelou. Miss Maya Angelou has left behind for us a legacy of great poetry. When we think about Jesus as a leader, first and foremost, I think about how he led us to do a ministry. Great leader, you would say? Now, the followers don't ask questions. The followers don't have enough experience to say, one day I'm going to be a great leader. See, followers are usually easy to win over. I ask you today, Are you a great leader? Do you want to be a great leader? Or are you a follower? You're conditioned to believe whatever people say and do. Following. You can change that. How about your imagination? How many of you have used your imagination to be able to create for yourself beauty? If I were to ask you, where do you imagine yourself being right now? Where would you like to be right now? I'd love to be on a beautiful beach, hearing the waves of the ocean as it rushes back and forth. That's beautiful imagination. Now, I can make that happen if I want to. But now, what about your beautiful imagination? Do you use it to the good of you? Do you use it to the best of you? Well, that's for you to decide. Being a life coach does not mean that I am a doctor of any kind, nor do I want to imitate a medical profession. We're going to be right back. We're going to be right back.
Cause we're called Vibe Talk, Facing the Lion podcast. Go check your favorite streaming platforms.
Feel free to be interactive and tell us your
Like
stories.
Spotify, iHeartRadio, Apple Music, YouTube, and so much more.
We're also on Facebook and Instagram.
Go give it a shot.
We're back, and thank you for joining Vibe Talk Facing the Lion as we discuss speaking wellness into oneself on this Wednesday Wellness. Feelings. Vibe Talk Facing the Lion podcast is all about your emotion and mental health and your feelings. How many of you find it hard to discuss your feelings? Well, this is your opportunity every time we're live, and even when we're not live, that you can talk about what you've heard in our podcast, what you like in our podcast. Have my grandson in as we're live, and what about your feelings do you want to talk about? What feelings, if you could, would you like to write down? Some people feel sad. But do you know why you feel sad? Some people woke up with joy. What about that joy? What made them feel the way they did? See, learn to talk about those things. Learn to talk about those things within the family. A lot of times the family needs to understand. For me, as a mom of two adult sons, young adults, we need to sit down and really talk about feelings. Because when you talk about feelings, a lot goes into that. You know, one of us will say, something made us upset. And we think we've explained it, but we didn't explain it. Because sometimes you think, well, you're my family member and you should understand how I feel. No, I don't. Especially if you didn't talk about your feelings. I'm learning that more and more when I express myself. I don't always say, did you hear me? I'm expecting that. So first hear myself, and then in turn as I hear myself speak, I'm able to pass that on to hear others speak. How many of us really enjoy learning, or do we just think we know everything? If we've done the latter of thinking we know everything, now ask yourself, how enjoyable is it for others to be around you? Because you know everything. You know everything, and there's nothing to learn because you know it all. But now let's change that as an affirmation. How many of you enjoy learning about everything? I enjoy learning, and I can honestly say that. I love to learn. I love to learn. Do you love to learn? Do you enjoy learning? So many of us today are not learning enough about ourselves. We will go to the odds end to learn about celebrities, football players, musicians, art. But we are not spending enough time learning about ourselves, creating awareness, safe space for ourselves. So we ask you the question, do you enjoy learning? Take the opportunity to learn all that you can to stay aware of you, your values, who you are, why you are. Because with that, you create an experience of wellness. How many of us have had a childhood where we really grew up well? You know, our parents have made mistakes, and as a parent, I've made mistakes. And we're not here to bash your parents, and I'm not here to bash children, adult children. But I'm asking you this question. How many of you think that you've grown up well? Because I have clientele that have really had a great life. And then I have clientele that didn't have the most satisfying life. We want you to stay in the present. Whatever that growth looks like to you, what are you doing with it now? Because we're working on the word well and wellness. Do you want to be that? See, because if you're stifled, there's no judgment. Because some of you have experienced trauma. Some of you have never talked about your feelings. And when you get that opportunity, you're speaking wellness into your life. That is that you recognize if you didn't have a good life, you're starting to ask questions. Maybe your parents are not here anymore. Maybe they are, and they're not willing to accept responsibility or accountability. I'm not saying that that's the case, but now, are you a grown-up that is well within yourself. You see how that got changed? Because see, as you adult yourself, you are responsible for your grown-up actions. Are they well? You know, when kids are little, they will, especially boys, because my boys did it, now my grandson does it. In fact, I took a cute picture of him in his little cape. But now, how many of you are strong? Are you strong? Yeah, my grandson says, yeah, he's strong. And you have superhero strength, right? Yeah. And so with that strength, you have learned and accompanied your very own personal superhero. Everyone has one. Everyone has one. You've come through some of the most horrific storms of life. That made you strong. Your story made you strong. Your experience made you strong inside and out. So you have become your own superhero. Yeah, my grandson is holding up both of his fists. So, with that being said, give yourself wellness. Embrace that wellness because you can embrace the words, I am strong inside and out. You know, a lot of people look within themselves and they can't find one positive thing to say about themselves. I would love for you to say to yourself at this present time that you are strong because you came through it to get to it. Strength. Sometimes we look at people and we think they are the strongest people. But no one knows what they've been through. And when we find out, we stand in judgment because we say we thought they were strong people. But I want you to think about your own strength. No judgment. Vibe Talk always creates for people safeness. That means when you are doing a one-on-one with me, that I don't go outside of that counseling of taking your business and putting it for everyone to hear. I create a safe space for you. When you come into Vibe Talk Live, we create safe space for you. Are you right now in your present life feeling safe? Because there are some days where you may or may not feel as safe. Maybe other days you feel more safe than than the day before. Now I want you to think about safety, and I want you to think about in the early development of childhood, I didn't realize swaddling was so important until my sister explained it to me. That a baby, when you swaddle the baby, it makes them feel safe and secure because they've been in the mother's womb for 9 months. And everything is snug and tight. Now, they're kept safe there for 9 months. And when they come out into this big, bright world, they may feel not so safe. Because you see, there are lights, there's noise, and they're feeling the emotion. Now, if you take away half of those kids and the swaddling, some children never receive swaddling. I realize the value of swaddling. That's why some kids have security blankets. We never want to take that for granted. You know, these security blankets or these toys that they have make them feel secure. Ask yourself, are you safe? Some people have had things happen to them that doesn't make them feel safe. Consider those things. If you're one of those things, what could you do more of to make yourself feel safe? Today will be an amazing day for you and I. And if it's not, let's create awareness for how to have more amazing days, for how to grow up and grow into our beautiful selves, to learn how to talk about our feelings, to learn to befriend ourselves, and to listen, and more listening. We will be right back. Stay tuned.
Cause we're called Vibe Talk, Facing the Lion podcast. Go check your favorite streaming platforms
Feel free to be interactive and tell us your story.
like Spotify, iHeartRadio, Apple Music, YouTube, and so much more.
We're also on Facebook and Instagram.
Go give it a shot.
Because I don't
We are back, and thank you for joining Vibe Facing the Lion podcast. We are in studio. Thank you for joining us today. We want to encourage anyone, any person to join our Vibe Talk Facing the Lion podcast. We want you to know that Vibe Talk Facing the Lion is all about facing challenges as well as embracing challenges along with our emotions, how we feel about them, and how we experience them, and to become emotionally intelligent. Our question of the day is this question: what did we learn about today's podcast? And how did it make us feel? If you're listening to the podcast, please answer that. I felt empowered with this podcast because we speak wellness about things. More things than we do ourselves. Speak wellness into yourself. Learn to discover yourself and learn to know that speaking wellness is flying with your butterfly wings. You're free to do that. So what did you learn from today's podcast today? And how will it help you to speak more wellness into yourself? We want to thank you for joining us wherever you are. You can listen to us. As soon as we are done with Vibe Talk Facing the Lion podcast, it goes up on our page, our very own page. And you're able to listen to it, you're able to share it, and it would go on our streaming. We stream as well, and we want you to know this. You can find us anywhere. Vibe Talk Facing the Lion podcast. We want to say thank you to everyone who chose to listen today. Thank you for all of your support, and may you, on this Wednesday Wellness, get well, be well, and stay well. Thank you for joining us. We'll see you next time.
I want you just to make a resolution. I want you to think about
I was really about to lose it, then I got the vibe with it. I really took my time with it. I really love the ride with it. For you, really got the vibe with it. I took my time with it. I really love the ride with it. Yeah. You can finally see a better you when you get the vibe with it. Yeah, when you get the vibe with it. Yeah.
goals are not just saying something. It's about commitment.